I really thought Ottawa was going to come back in that one. Well, then Ottawa ought to score more goals next time. Let's go! It starts with an A and ends with anxiety. Off the charts levels of passion! That's just a nightmare! With you wherever you are, welcome to LFR. Victory, puppies! For every Leafs win, that's $50 to the Humane Society of Durham Region. Yeah. Leafs win 7-5 over the Ottawa Senators. You know what? You know what? I am not just going to file that under a win is a win is a win. Oh, here's Steve. He's going to find a way to make it negative. No! I'm actually going to make this better than a win is a win. Because, hey, listen. Hockey Night in Canada win. They've been kind of stingy on those this season. I know, as a guy who streams every Saturday game. Like 6 out of their last 7 heading into this one. And no, it's nothing to do with the don't do the hand thing. Not nearly as fun or funny as the hand thing. So they won a Saturday game. They won it against the Senators in the Battle of Ontario. I don't care if the Sens are first and the Leafs are last, or the Leafs are, what did I start with? You know what I mean! A win against the Sens is a win against the Sens. Number 3, one of my biggest criticisms of the Toronto Maple Leafs this season. It's not just that they were losing, it's that they were losing and boring! And one thing that game was not was boring. Let's talk about it. Here's what you need to know. Marc Savard was fired before their previous game against the Pittsburgh Penguins. He was not replaced for that game. Leafs won it 6-3. Notably, did not score on the power play. Since then, Santa visited all our homes. Shout out Nick. Saint Nick, fine. Not gonna pretend to know him like that, you know. And then after that, very shortly after that, the Leafs hired Steve Sullivan. More along the lines of the Leafs promoted Steve Sullivan. See, Steve Sullivan, who used to be a Leaf, before he let's go through the lore. Steve Sullivan was a Leaf, a very young Leaf. Steve Sullivan was a very young Leaf who developed. Steve Sullivan was a very young Leaf who in, I think, 63 regular season games had 20 goals and 20 assists as a 24-year-old. And right now you're like, oh, what dumb trade is Steve about to talk about? Nah, see, dumb trades are not dumb at the time. You make dumb trades thinking they're good trades. But after getting a 20-goal, 20-assist season in his early 20s, Steve Sullivan did not score a goal in the first 7 games of the next season, so the Leafs waived him! Naturally, after getting claimed off waivers by the Chicago Blackhawks, Sullivan put up 22 goals, 42 assists for 64 points, and the next season, 34 goals, 41 assists, 75 points. He scored 747 career NHL points in 1,011 NHL games. He even, and I forgot about this, won the Masterton Trophy in 2009. Yet the Leafs don't get their multi-generational reputation of being bad by historically making good decisions, and Steve Sullivan was one of their worst decisions. Now, he's hoping to be one of their best. He was hired to be assistant coach of the Toronto Marlies last year. That was his first pro coaching job. So he joins the Leafs because, well, they needed a guy. Because firing Marc Savard and replacing him with no one seemed, dumb. Because surely if these guys had any brilliant ideas, they would have shared them with him while they were on the bench with him. So Sullivan joins the Leafs from the Marlies in not the greatest spot. The Marlies had some of the fewest power play goals in the entire American Hockey League, but part of that is due to them having the fewest power play opportunities in the entire American Hockey League. See, it goes across leagues. Their power play percentage was ranked 22nd out of 32. Not great, Bob. Well, guess what? First game with Steve Sullivan behind the bench. The Senators take a penalty 12 seconds into the game. Sully! Oh, yeah, what do you need? Well, we were just hoping you could give us some tips for the power play. See that blank space right there? Yeah, well, just go there and shoot it. Wow, that was genius, Sully. Doesn't anyone know to do that? All right, great news, Sully. We're on the power play again. What should we do? Okay, well, see how Matthew Nyes is wide open? Give it to Matthew Nyes. What is this? How does this guy do it? I don't know. I didn't even run the practice. But Sully, the power play is 2 for 2 tonight. Why don't you seem happy? Because even though I'm benefiting from the leafiness, I'm still resentful of the leafiness. Wow, Sully, we're up 2-0 now. Do you have anything else you want to say before you go? Yes, this suit is very hot and I'm going to regret making this a bit. Here's the thing. This is a perfectly normal sentence for the average NHL fan to say. You know, our team wasn't the best tonight, but the power play bailed us out. How many games out of 30 plus have the Leafs been able to say that? None? The answer is probably none. It's maximum 2. Or, more realistically, because the NHL is so crammed even, especially the Eastern Conference right now, hey, that was a 50-50 game. We had 2 power play goals. They had 1. That's the game. We had 1 power play goal. They had 0. That's the game. Oh, they had 1. We had 0. That's the game. That is a huge reason why the Leafs are so far down the stand. And the most hilarious, Leafiest thing ever is Steve Sullivan's first game behind the Leafs bench is against the Sens' 31st ranked penalty kill, and watching it on the ice, I'm like, who the heck is 32nd? Matthews. It's a nice flick pass over to Nylander, wide open. Berries. You're not getting a save from Ullmark. Max Domi in the corner. Matthew Nyes in the high slot, scooching back almost like, why am I so wide open? It's almost, I half expected him to look at the bench and be like, is there too many men? No, it's just the Sens penalty kill stinks and you scored, because that was actually a pretty good shot. And also, like, Linus Ullmark's not going to stop that. And just like that, the Leafs are up 2-0. Both power play goals. Thought the game was over, you thought like a silly goose. Joseph Woll allowed 5 goals in this game. That might lead you to think he had a bad game. It wasn't his best. Pretty rare to allow 5 goals and have it be your best. But there were a couple dumb ones scored on him, and the first one was one of them. Jordan Spence puts it on, and Joseph Woll tries to stop that shot. That shot never arrives. It hits Nick Cousins, who then scores on the rebound, which is shot from somewhere else. And with about 2 minutes to go in the first, the Sens cut the lead to 1. But the reason the Leafs have the lead after 1 is because of the power play. 18 seconds into the second period, you realize that the power play isn't the Leafs' only problem. Ridley Gregg drives the net. Philip Myers takes a penalty, because that's like his number 1 export. Like, what are Canada's number 1 exports? It's like lumber, maple syrup, naughty novels that get adapted into very successful television programs. Philip Myers' number 1 export is taking penalties! So he takes one on Ridley Gregg, and then he also takes Ridley Gregg down, and then, oh, you're going to the box. And then Ridley Gregg and the Sens are like, what, did you see that me and that giant defenseman aren't the only things that ended up in the net? Yeah, the puck went in. And they review it, and the puck went in. And now it's 2-2, 18 seconds into the second. And now all the good feelings I had from the first period evaporated. They're gone. Because, dude, people forget the last game before Christmas. What was the final score? You might not remember the final score. You remember that the Leafs won, and you might remember that the final score was 6-3. Do you remember that they blew a 3-1 lead and let the Penguins tie it 3-3? You do? Well, then you know that they've blown a 2-goal lead at home in very recent memory. And here they are again, and they're getting outshot 12-4. Like, yeah, okay, their power play seems to be back on track for the night, but somehow 5-on-5, they're worse? I was not happy. In fact, I was the opposite of happy. I was quite upset. But then this new look top line puts together easily their best period of hockey together. And that top line is Max Domi, Austin Matthews, Bobby McMann. Domi needs a reset every now and then. He does, and that's why he was scratched pretty recently. Well, he's been great since getting scratched, and when he's playing great, it's not just the vision or the speed. Like, yeah, he's putting up points, but he's hustling and battling and creating turnovers with his stick, which is what he did here. 3 minutes and 10 seconds later, he takes the puck away, throws it in front where Austin Matthews is, causing a kerfuffle. Puck is behind Linus Ullmark because that's where the puck usually is, and McMahon tucks it home. 3-2 lead. Exactly 4 minutes later, Max Domi, once again, puts it on. Who grabs the rebound? It's Austin! Like, we want the one-timers, we want the toe drag release, we want all that, but when Matthews was lighting the world on fire, he scored a really underrated amount of goals like this. Goal scores goals! You go to where the goals are scored. The net! And now it's 4-2, and they have a 2-goal lead again, and oh wait, they're not done? Barely over a minute remaining. OEL puts it on, and no one was stopping this puck. It's hilarious. OEL puts it on. It is deflected by Nicolas Waugh. It is deflected by Matthew Nyes, who then collects it and passes it between his legs to Nick Robertson, who buries it! Just like that, the Leafs had a 2-goal lead, blew it, and got a 3-goal lead. And that is the 3-goal lead that they took into second intermission. Now, I am leaving out a couple steps. One, the Leafs kind of held on a little bit at the end of the second. Two, Big reason for that is William Nylander went down with an injury and did not return to the game. Now, as Jesse Blake reported after the game, because he's a reporter, don't you know, William Nylander is traveling with the Leafs to Detroit, who they play tomorrow. So that leads me to believe the injury isn't serious. He might play tomorrow, and even if he doesn't play tomorrow, he's not going to be out long term. Until he pulls an Anthony Stolarz and he's day-to-day and week-to-week. And now they use the I word indefinitely with him. That's not good. Also not good, the Ottawa Senators scoring just 14 seconds into the second period. Not good. Stetcher pinched. Tavares is like, don't worry, I got you. And then realized he does not have the foot speed to I got you. And Oliver Ekman-Larsson abandons his man. It's Cousins to Batherson. Goal. Okay, well, you still have that 2-goal lead. You'd never blow one of those. Just over 5 minutes in, Tim Stützle takes the shot. Max Domi almost gets him before he gets the shot off. It was weird. Like, Domi, he elbowed Stützle in the arm, which I don't think is a thing. Like, has that ever been called in human history? I don't know, it was weird. But he scored, and now you have 15 minutes to hold on to a 1-goal lead. You have shown zero evidence you can hold on to. And Matthew Nyes, who for some reason was listening to me when I said that, said, you know what, the blogger's right. Morgan Riley, who had a really low-key kind of nice night, he takes the puck for a little stroll. He gives it to Matthias Michelli, who really low-key had kind of a nice night. Gets it to Matthew Nyes, tucks it around, wait a sec, that's... Oh, Ullmark's gone. Oh, well, that's the first goal that Levi Marilina... It's not? Ullmark was pulled after the fourth one? And it didn't matter. This is the second one Marilina's allowed. That's crazy. Nyes' hot night continues, and the Leafs regain their 2-goal lead that they held on to for 3.5 minutes. That's it. And it's another weird one for Woll to handle. Spence puts it on. It's blocked. He gets his own rebound and scores. Like, the puck hit Claude Giroux. Giroux is like... not even celebrating, he's hobbling off the ice, and they scored anyway. And the Leafs somehow managed to drag this thing forward. They haven't been scored on yet. Under 100 seconds ago, Matthews, from his own end, hits the side of the empty net. And I'm sitting there going, please don't blow this. I do not need the story after this one to be about how Matthews didn't score on an empty net. I do not need that. And then Tavares said, I'm John, and he scored. He did it. It's fine. The Leafs have won back-to-back games. Praise be! They win 7-5. Let me tell you something. It's December. I don't give the slightest hoot how this team wins games. I don't care if every game is 7-5. I don't. You've won back-to-back games. You're looking to make it 3. Just win. Win however you can, want, whatever happens first. The bad news is you have to leapfrog 7 teams to get into a playoff spot in the East. The good news, you know how far back you are? 3 points. There is a lot of hockey left to be played, and one of the teams ahead of you, one of the teams that you have to leapfrog, is Ottawa. Oh, and I almost forgot. This game that had just a little bit of everything, there was some hate. There was the patented Kachuk brother, like, chomping on your mouth guard and punching a guy who you're not looking at. Like, it's hilarious that they both do it. But more specifically, at the very end of the game, Dylan Cousins gives Troy Stetcher a little whack in the leg. Troy Stetcher responds in kind by mauling him. Now, was that a proportionate reaction to what Dylan Cousins did? I don't care! You don't ever do that to me. You definitely don't do it to me in our building, and you don't ever do that to me! That is the attitude I want every single guy in a Leafs uniform to have. And then after, Stetcher's getting the crowd all worked up and he's going nuts and it's awesome. Every time the Leafs do something positive or have a great game or even just win, you're looking for something, anything to cling on to, something that can be the catalyst that turns the season around. And as of yet, we haven't found that moment. Man, it would be great if that was the spark right there. You beat them. Who cares how you beat them? You beat them. You feel good about it. questions. So with Sullivan's power play going 2 for 2, would firing Mike Van Ryn and hiring a new D coach mean shutouts? Okay, so this is very funny. Because, like, yeah, the Leafs power play has stunk, and so they fired their power play coach. Okay, that seems to follow logic, right? Okay, well, literally all season long, the Leafs have had the worst defensive metrics in the league, like bottom 5 in every category, except their penalty kill has been very good. Derek Lalonde manages the penalty kill, so he is safe. What about the guy who just manages the D-core in general? Well, that's Mike Van Ryn. So, like, what does he get gas now? Listen, it's a tough industry. Something had to change. The Leafs decided it was one guy. That's rough, but it's a rough business. If the losses continue to add up, Savard won't be the last. 2 wins in a row? Good start. This is Zoltan showing the expected goals. Was this the best Matthews game in years? I would place it firmly top 3 in the last 2 seasons. What do you think? I wouldn't say, like, top 3 in the past 2 seasons, but, like, that was his best game in a long time. He had a couple assists, he had a goal, but the expected goals, like the actual chances being generated, dude had 9 shots on goal. He had 7 shots in the second period alone. Now, losing Nylander kind of screwed everything up. Different guys are having good performances. It's fascinating to me that separating Nyes and Matthews has worked. And by fascinating, I mean, I kind of assumed it would work. Not because I think either player stinks, or even because I think they're bad together. All I know is the Leafs have been bad all season. And those two guys, as a tandem, has been very consistently together all season. If you're looking to make change, and you're trying not to fire anybody, and you're also like, oh, making trades is hard, then make significant changes to your lineup beyond having a guy on your top line, then scratching them the next game, and then putting them back on the top line. Nyes and Waugh, that's kind of weird, but it actually sort of makes sense. Matthews with Domi and McMahon, that's almost like a bizarro version of Matthews with Domi and Bertuzzi. There's a lot of things McMahon does that aren't as good as the way Tyler Bertuzzi did it, but I tell you what, Bertuzzi can't shoot like that. No, he can't. Not from distance. Bertuzzi can't skate like that. No, he can't. Very few guys in the league can. Bertuzzi was hungry and he was mean and he mucked it up in front of the net, but those are all parts of McMahon's game that are getting better. And I don't know what it is about putting McMahon with Tavares that doesn't work, but it doesn't really work. We know he works on the third line because we've seen it, but if you're really looking for change, the top line with Austin and Domi, kind of neat. Matias Maccelli, who hasn't earned the right to be an absolutely everyday player, but probably shouldn't have been scratched for 9 straight. He's adding life to the top 6. Really like him with Tavares and Nylander. It would be a shame if Nylander didn't get to play in Detroit. I assume he'll be replaced by Easton Cowan. And the fourth line is just kind of good. Brandon Carlo has returned to practice after getting surgery. There are lots of reasons to be cautiously optimistic right now. Cautiously. There's lots of season left to go, 1 game at a time. So, my friends, that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell your friends. Monsters, Inc. Good film.